So along with strength, mobility, flexibility, and the pliability of your body is very important. That's why we do these active recovery days. I'll see you inside.
All right, gang, we're back at it again, starting off with jumping jacks. Let's get straight to it. Low impact options right there, little tappies, little foot tappies, but we're just getting the blood pumping, getting the arms moving, getting the legs moving, getting some jumping jacks going. Fun fact, the name jumping jack came from the granddaddy of fitness, Jack LaLanne. He's like, it was back in the before times, but he created the jumping jack LaLanne. That's where the name came from. Fun fact of the day. So we're going to take this jumping jack and we're going to go to front jacks. So we're going to swing the arms forward and back and swing the legs forward and back. Again, low impact option. Now I give these because sometimes you get to a certain point where your knees and ankles and feet or whatever don't like you landing on them, and that's okay. As long as we just get moving, but take those arms all the way up overhead. And we're going to go for about 5 more seconds and switch on to the next. Each of these movements lasts for about a minute, and we've got 10 of them. Cool. Let's switch it. From there, we're moving on into squats. Remember, your squat stance, your heels should be about shoulder width apart. Now, I have my toes splayed out about 30 degrees or so. It's up to you if you want your feet straight ahead or if you want your toes splayed out. One of my chiropractors one time explained to me I was like, I want to squat with my feet straight forward, dude. And he's like, well, see, the way your pelvis is set up, is just like the way your hips are set up determines how you squat most comfortably. Now from here, let's go ahead and sink down into that squat. Hands together, prying the elbows out, driving the knees apart. And we're just hanging out in the bottom of the squat. If you'd like, you can take a twist to one side. As I'm twisting, I'm driving that elbow into that knee, and let's give it a little rest in that squat. Take it up, get a little stretch the hamstrings, back down, taking another twist. The squat is such a fundamental human movement. It's just terrific to do. Bad news is we only have 3 seconds left. I know, one more squat. Let's rest. So dropping back into this is called a drop lunge because you're dropping the back leg and then sinking that back knee towards the floor. From there, we're sweeping the arms straight up. Big smile if you like. Think about also as you're lifting, as you're working here, relax your face. Pay attention to your face. Are you like scowling and just like, oh, I'm super intense right now? Like, it's a warm up. It's the warm up. Chill, right? Maybe smile, relax a little bit. This is your you time where you have nothing else to do except for move. So we're going to add the leaning adaptation. So hands together and lean towards your front knee. I try to squeeze the side of my head with my biceps and then nice little lean. But relax your face. Enjoy this time in movement. You don't have to be anything, do anything else other than move right now. Okay? We're going to move on in 3, 2, 1. Let's switch it. All right, we're going to keep lunging, but we're going to add a little karate kick to it. We're going to add a kick to it. So you're lunging and kicking. You're going to stay on one leg for the first 30 seconds, though. So we're going to kick. As you can see, I'm sweeping my opposite arm up and around, kind of just getting a little shoulder movement in there. But just lunging and kicking. It's a bit of a dynamic stretch on that kicking leg and just getting a little stretch to the hamstring and glute as you kick up and out. A little bit of balance work as you stay on that one leg, right? Just a little lunge and kick. Let's go ahead and switch legs. Same thing, other side. Just dropping in, kicking up. Now, I know we just did lunges. We're doing some more lunges for another minute. Just kind of, they should be getting a little spicy, They're just kind of warming up, getting some blood flow going to the legs, the knees, hips, ankles. Ooh, play almost fell over. Y'all see that? Yeah, almost fell over. That's all right. I ain't been drinking or nothing. That's just, just balance, right? Let's switch it up. All right, kids. Next up is the half Cossack squat. Yeah. So your goal in this one is to take that hip out, jut it out, and stick it out over your heel. Poke that thing out. Poke that thing out. Yeah. All right. Sorry. But you're just sticking your hip out. Hip, knee, and heel are all in line. If you can do a full Cossack squat, that means your butt is going all the way to the floor. I can't physically do it flexibility-wise, so we're doing a half Cossack squat. But if you're a bit more advanced, feel free to do a full Cossack squat. Now, we're adding a twist in here. So as you shift over to your left, lift your left hand. As you shift to your right, lift your right hand and rotate through the spine. So you're shifting your chest to that direction as well as lifting your arm. Beautiful. This is one of my favorites. It just feels so good. Oi. Good. Now let's adapt that Cossack squat and switch to sliding across. All right, we're still going with the Cossack squat, but we're going to stay low. So as you slide across, instead of popping all the way up like we did in the last one, we're just going to keep the hips like on a horizontal plane and slide from one side over to the other, loading one hip, one leg, stretching to the other one. So right now, that leg is like that long leg that's long. You should be feeling a little bit of a stretch to the inner thigh. And then the leg that's working, like, yeah, they're getting a little spicy there, right? Because we're just staying low, keeping those muscles contracted as we slide back and forth. Just shifting side to side. Nice and easy. And then we're going to add the twist. So I love adding that twist in there. So stay rotated, slide across, and then when you get there, rotate towards that knee. Slide and twist. Slide, then twist. Slide, then twist. Beautiful. We got about 5 seconds to go, so do 2 more. Oi. Yup. 1 more. All right, y'all, let's lay it down. Pull your knee to your chest, and we're just doing a single leg bridge. I know, get down there. I know, it takes a sec. But we're just driving your heel into the floor and squeezing up. Don't arch your back, right? Keep that knee pulled in. When you pull your knee to your chest in this, it prevents your pelvis from tipping forward. So you'll notice you won't go up very high, but you may notice your hamstring cramping or maybe your glute cramping. That's what we want. We want the hamstring and glute really firing. Go ahead and switch sides. We're going to do the other leg. And again, if you can look at the screen right now, I'm not lifting my butt very high. I'm getting up about 5 or 6 inches. But that's really all you need. It doesn't matter how high you're going. It matters how much glute and hamstring engagement that you're getting here. That's what we want to work on. Not how far you can move, how much muscle engagement you can get here. Cool. Let's go for about 6 more seconds, and we're going to stand it back up for some single leg RDLs. Now that we got the hamstrings moving, let's get them working a little bit more. Let's switch it. Now that we're standing, let's bring one leg up, and we're going to shift back and stand up. So when I say shift back, so my swinging leg, the leg that's kind of going back and forth, it's like I put a paintbrush on the bottom of that foot, and I'm painting a long strip back behind me as long as it'll go. So instead of tipping over directly and that foot leaving the floor immediately, I'm sweeping back. As you see here, I'm kind of bracing my abs as I go. Ideally, you're in a nice solid plank once you hit the bottom of that movement. So you're kind of in a standing T pose. Let's switch legs, making like a T shape with your body. So that standing leg, the knee can push forward a little bit, but we don't want to squat into this. You kind of want to keep your knee right over your heel, ideally, and then just hinge forward. Yeah. Keeping your body nice and flat, abs tight, shoulders back, leg kicking long. Let's do 1 more, and switch it. Hurdle steps are next. So we're going to do some nice little hip openers. So 2 big steps to your right, 1, 2, and then 1 big step, whoop, under. This one is great for kind of opening up the hips different ways. So kind of just big hip circles, flexing the hips up, and then kind of just dropping low and spreading the legs and getting those inner thighs. So inner thigh, outer thigh, just really warming those hips up. This is a great one. It's like a track warm up, stepping over hurdles and stepping under. That's why it's called a hurdle step, because if we had the equipment, we would be stepping over a hurdle and then stepping under the next one. It comes from the track world. I didn't run track, but I just know people that did, and this is a warm up that we did. So that's what we're doing here. I just generally like it because it's a frontal plane movement that just really gets the hips warmed up. Anyways, we got 1 more, and then we'll switch it up. Let's stand at the end of your mat. We're going to reach up and overhead, reach for the toes, and then walk out into a push-up. Hand walk-out push-ups are this next exercise, as you can see. We try to keep the legs as straight as possible as we reach up and then reach down. So do your best to kind of get a nice stretch to the back of the legs. If you don't have a full push-up yet, that's okay. Think about just lowering your body to the floor nice and slow. and then we're kind of rounding on the way up. That's okay if you don't have the full push-up yet. We're just here getting warmed up, right? Push-ups are actually very tough. In my training practice, I run into quite a few people, like when we first meet, when we first start training together, they can't do a full push-up. A few weeks in, we get our first one, and then we build from there. But don't feel bad if you can't do a push-up yet. Practice it, practice the eccentric, and then we'll grow from there. Let's do one more, and then we're going to get into our core series. Nice. All right, y'all. Next up is knee tuck plank. So you're going to get into a plank position, and then we're going to jump the feet up, effectively tucking the knees in and then shooting your feet back. Just tucking in, push them back. Tuck them in, push them back. Keep your shoulders right over your hands. We're just going in and out in this one. Perfect. If you run out of gas, if you're like, dude, this is too high level for me, feel free to just hold a plank. That is fine. We're just going for 30 seconds here. Tuck them in, shoot them out. If it's too much for some reason, feel free to step them in and out. We only have 3 seconds, and then we're going to flip over onto your back. Let's flip it over. All right, on your butt, we're going to sit up into a V-sit position. Don't let your back arch, chest nice and tall. If you need to, put one foot down or both feet down, but more advanced, pull the knees up. Again, keep the chest lifted. Yep. I am struggling and wiggling around quite a bit here. Ideally, the legs are kind of out in a tabletop. This is not a strong position for me, so I am struggling with this, and hopefully you're not. You're better at this than I am. And then we're going to switch over into a plank again. All right, we're back to the plank. Let's lift one arm. Single arm plank. We're going to shoot for 15 seconds per side. If it's too tough for you, feel free to stay in just a normal plank. Make sure your feet are wide, though. You may be struggling because your feet are too close together. Switch sides. You may be struggling if your feet are too close together because that challenges the balance. Now, I'm taking it down to my elbows because from the elbows, it's quite a bit tougher, okay? So you know the deal. We have 2 rounds to do this, so we can hit the elbows next time. Let's flip it back over to your back. All right, back over to your back. We are going to go to swimmers, hands underneath your butt and feet elevated, little kicks. Just little kick, 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 kick. Little swimmies, okay? If you can, stay crunched up so your ribs are pulled down to the floor. Feet are elevated. And like I said, I put my hands under my butt just to kind of help support the lower back. But you're really thinking about pulling your pelvis up and in while you're doing this. So pulling your belt buckle up towards you for 3, 2, 1. Stay right there on your back. Crunches are up next. Feet flat. Crunch it up. Just rounding that spine. You know what to do. Just little breaths. I like to take little breaths and just take little, make little sound. Well, you know me by now, right? I like to make sounds. It's fun. It's just fun to do, right? It's just fun to make sound. Okay, for some of y'all are like, nah, you're just weird, dude. And that's true as well. But it's fun to make sounds. I don't know. Let's go back to our side crunches in 3, 2, 1. Side crunch. Yep, back to your side. Lay it down, hand on the abs. Let's crunch it up. We're just keep going with those crunches. First, we're crunching to the front. Now we're crunching to the side. Then next, we're going to crunch to the other side. Again, if you want to lift those hips. So these crunches are just really good. Just like getting those abs going. Like most of the time, I love doing stabilization of the core, planks, side planks, because that's kind of how our core works functionally. But they make you sore, Feeling sore feels good. 3, 2, 1. Let's flip it over. Hit the other side. And then continue those crunches on the other side. Just crunching up. That's it. Being sore isn't always indicative of a good workout, but it feels good to be like, oh yeah, I know I worked it. Because you can have a great workout that's building muscle, highly productive, and you're not even sore from it. And you can just go the succeeding days, but it just feels damn good to be sore. 3, 2, 1. Let's go into hollow holds. For instance, here, let's hit this hollow body hold. The hollow holds don't really make you that sore, right? It's a great core stabilization exercise, which is amazing for your functional strength. For you being functionally strong and being able to support your spine and hold it in place under load. but they don't necessarily make you sore. So just keep that in mind as you're lifting. Just because you're not sore sometimes doesn't mean you didn't get a great workout. So we got 3 seconds and we're going to flip over for prone snow angels. Let's flip it. All right, you know what to do. We're lifting the chest, lifting the thighs, sweeping the arms. Hands start up, rotate them in as you sweep back. And yeah. This is kind of a little break from the ab stuff. I mean, you still have to kind of keep your abs tight to like support your body, but it's a little bit of back work as we're working the low back, working the shoulders, working the glutes, all that good stuff. And then we're going to finish with the bicycle crunch. Ready? Let's flip it back over. Long lever bicycle crunch. Legs are long and you're twisting side to side with the upper body, rotating from left to right, trying to hit your elbow to your knee. And if this legs long is too hard, feel free to bend the knees. This is an advanced version of the bicycle crunch, but it's pretty decent. Gets those abs finished off proper like. 5 seconds and we're going to go into our mobility. You're almost done. And let's rest. We are back at the top in this plank, back in business, tucking the knees up and in. You know what to do. We did everything. Now we're just going to do it over again. Like, I consider that first whole set as the practice round. This is the round of mastery. The round, because you know what you're doing. You're already nice and warmed up. Let's go ahead and take it on home. So if you have a little bit extra, give a little bit extra in the second one because you know we finished this whole routine with recovery. All right, we're flipping it over to your back in 3, 2, 1, V-sits. V-sits. V is for victory. So sit up nice and tall. Keep those legs out if you need to. Again, bring the feet down. But V is for, this is our victory lap, right? You do the first lap and you're like, cool, I got that in. This is the victory lap because we already won. We already out here winning because we showed up. So this is that victory lap with the V. I'm just talking right now. I don't know. Okay, hang in there, though. You got about 7 seconds to go. We're going to flip back over for that single arm plank. Are you ready? All right, let's flip it over. Yo, we're back up in that plank. Lift one hand. We have our single arm plank, 15 seconds per side. Hanging on here. Are your legs squeezed? Like your knees are locked? Your knees shouldn't be bent. Lock your knees. Squeeze your butt. Like eat your shorts. Like switch hands. We're going to the other side. Eat your shorts. Right? Butt squeeze, leg squeeze, ab squeeze, shoulders pulled back and down. Your whole body is engaged in this plank. We don't want soft planks. We want them nice and squeezed. 3 seconds, we're going to flip over to your back and switch it. All right, back to swimmers. Hands under your butt and little kick. We're going to lift the legs up and down and just kicking those legs. If you want, you can leave them low and just kick them. Hover them right above the floor, little kicks. Just make sure you're keeping that arch out of your low back. You want to think like, we put the hands under the hips to kind of help keep the pelvis tilted back, but that's what you're trying to do with your abdominals. Keep the pelvis in place while the legs go into extension. We're going to go into crunches in 3, 2, 1, feet on the floor. Crunches are up next. Feet flat, crunch it up. Just rounding that spine. You know what to do. Just little breaths. I like to take little breaths and just take little, make little sound. Well, you know me by now, right? I like to make sounds. It's fun. It's just fun to do, right? It's just fun to make sound. Okay, for some of y'all are like, nah, you're just weird, dude. And that's true as well. But it's fun to make sounds. I don't know. Let's go back to our side crunches in 3, 2, 1, side crunch. Yep, back to your side, lay it down, hand on the abs. Let's crunch it up. We're just keep going with those crunches. First, we're crunching to the front. Now we're crunching to the side. Then next, we're going to crunch to the other side. Again, if you want to lift those hips. So these crunches are just really good. Just like getting those abs going. Like most of the time, I love doing stabilization of the core, planks, side planks, because that's kind of how our core works functionally. But these they make you sore, Feeling sore feels good. 3, 2, 1. Let's flip it over. Hit the other side. And then continue those crunches on the other side. Just crunching up. That's it. Like being sore isn't always indicative of a good workout, but it feels good to be like, oh yeah, I know I worked it. Because like you can have a great workout that's like building muscle, highly productive, and you're not even sore from it. And you can just like, go the succeeding days, but it just feels damn good to be sore. 3, 2, 1, let's go into hollow holds. Like for instance, here, let's hit this hollow body hold. Like the hollow holds don't really make you that sore, right? Like it's a great core stabilization exercise, which is amazing for your functional strength. Like for you being functionally strong and being able to support your spine and hold it in place under load. But they don't necessarily make you sore. So just keep that in mind as you're lifting. Just because you're not sore sometimes doesn't mean you didn't get a great workout. So we got 3 seconds and we're going to flip over for prone snow angels. Let's flip it. All right, you know what to do. We're lifting the chest, lifting the thighs, sweeping the arms. Hands start up. Rotate them in as you sweep back. And yeah. This is kind of a little break from the abs stuff. I mean, you still have to kind of keep your abs tight to support your body, but it's a little bit of back work as we're working the low back, working the shoulders, working the glutes, all that good stuff. And then we're going to finish with the bicycle crunch. Ready? Let's flip it back over. Long lever bicycle crunch. Legs are long and you're twisting side to side with the upper body, rotating from left to right, trying to hit your elbow to your knee. And if this legs long is too hard, feel free to bend the knees. This is an advanced version of the bicycle crunch, but it's pretty decent. Gets those abs finished off proper like. 5 seconds and we're going to go into our mobility. You're almost done and let's rest. All right, y'all, we're going to start our mobility section with the hip cars. So you're in your 4-point position or your quadruped position, and we're taking that hip up and around. Now, a lot of you will probably have more range of motion in this than I do, but we're trying to take that hip and rotate it while we move it. So if you have more, if you like this exercise, look up FRC, Functional Range Conditioning. I took the certification a few years back, and it is a modality that focuses on strengthening of the joint capsule. So we've got 2 rounds of hip cars and 2 rounds of shoulder cars coming up just to start off this mobility round. And like I said, if you have any a lot of pain or dysfunction in your joints, look up FRC, Functional Range Conditioning. It's an entire modality. It's pretty uncomfortable. Let's go ahead and switch sides. It's very uncomfortable, but it's kind of like if you're doing this right, if you're pushing into your end range of motion, it's a painful kind of movement. But what it does over time is it strengthens the muscles around in the socket of the joint capsule. There's little muscles that live in right around your joint that help to move it. And they often get atrophied and don't really work, and we use improper muscles to move around and stabilize the joint, so we get this dysfunction there. But if you work to strengthen the joint capsule muscles, over time you get more functionality, less pain around your joints, and they improve over time. Like the certification I went to, the guys they were doing these freakish movements. But it was pretty crazy to see. We got 5 seconds, and we're going to go ahead and switch to shoulder cars. All right, stay in that position, switch to shoulders. So same thing here, lifting up, rotating that shoulder down, internal rotation as you sweep the arm back and around, and then bring it back up, sweeping it, rotating it back and around. So yeah, the certification I went to, these guys had trained their joints so much where I remember the one guy, he stood on the side of his ankles. He was standing up, full body weight. He had rotate. You know how you roll your ankle? Like your foot goes in and your ankle goes towards the floor? Yeah. So this guy was able to stand on the sides of his ankles, right? And I was like, keep it in the circus, freak. What are you doing? He could stand on his ankles, and then this cat jumped and landed on the sides of his feet. He landed on his ankles, and he was like, look what I can do. Bam, bam. And I'm like, what are you doing? And he's just jumping on the sides of his ankles. We're going to switch arms in 3, 2, 1, switch sides. So this guy is jumping up and down on the sides of his feet like, look, if you can train your joint to work, you'll never have a rolled ankle again because you can train your joint to be strong in this range of motion. Then it's not a sprain. It has control in these like fringe ranges of motion. And it's true. If you can train your joints to have stability and strength at the end range, and you can expand that end range of motion, which is what we're doing with these shoulder and hip cars, trying to expand your end range of motion, means you don't have injuries when it gets, away from its center. So it was an excessive demonstration, but it illustrated the point of what we're doing here. So we've got about 10 seconds left, and then we're going to switch it up. So finish up your shoulder cars for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's rotate. All right, we're laying it flat down on your chest, shoulders glued to the floor, and you're going to kick one foot up and across. This should be a nice stretch through your lower back and your spine. I like to breathe in when I come down. Exhale as you kick. Kind of wringing out your lungs as you wring out your spine. Just like that. Perfect. Switching from one side to the other. Now, if you'd like, you can lift one arm off the floor. Now, this kind of, if you want to keep stretching through your spine, just keep with the traditional scorpion stretch. If you want to release the arm, that'll get more of a stretch through the pec and the front of the shoulder, so your chest and your shoulder. If you want to, as you kick your right foot, if you want to reach your right arm towards the ceiling, that will do more of that. So it's all where you want to stretch. If you want more of your back, keep your chest on the floor. If you want to get up in the upper body, take it up. All right, let's bring it back up to the hands and knees. All right, scapular push-ups. Your scapula are your shoulder blades. So this hence the name scapular push-ups. We're not bending the elbows. Elbows stay straight. We're just squeezing the shoulder blades together and then pulling them down the sides of your body, spreading the shoulder blades apart. As you can see here, I've gone up to my toes. That is the advanced version of this. That can be pretty difficult, though. So if your shoulder blades don't move, if they don't squeeze together, stay on the knees. Keep some of that load off of the shoulders and just work on moving them. Work on mobility before you work on strength. Squeezing the shoulders together, spread them apart. Remember, take some nice deep breaths in here. Just breathing as you push and pull through the shoulder blades. Okay? Keep hanging in there. Just nice and easy. Nice and easy. We got 5 seconds to go, and then we're going to sit in a straddle position with your feet apart. Let's go ahead and switch it. All right, we're sitting flat out. Walk your hands out and away and just stretch right down the middle. Nice little hamstring and groin stretch. If you want more, think about flexing the top of your feet up towards your shins. If you can't reach this far, think about grabbing behind the back of your knees. I'm relatively flexible in this, so if you're like, damn, I can't do that, dude, that's fine. Grab behind your knees and just pull your body forward a little bit. Make sure you're breathing deeply. Don't hold your breath while you stretch. Nice breaths in. Let's go ahead and reach over to your left side. Left or right, either way, I don't care. Just one side. We're going to do both sides. It's fine. It's fine. And again, breathing in, bringing your head down towards your knee. And then switch sides. Other side. Nice big breath in and out. Reach for your heel. If you can't get that far, reach for your calf. If you can't get that far, reach for the back of your knee. And then let's switch into wrist rocks. So the wrist rock, hands go on the floor, and we're just going to rock back and forth. It's exactly what it sounds like. You're rocking on your wrists. That's it. So as I rock forward, I'm thinking about pulling my hands up towards my forearms. The hands are obviously plastered to the floor, so the forearms pull forward. But we're just rocking back and forth, pulling and then pushing away. I kind of push away to kind of push my body back. We got 30 seconds here. Then we're going to flip the hands over, bringing the top of the hands to the floor. I'm going to bend and straighten my elbows. So keeping your hands fully on the floor, kind of back of the wrist on the floor, bend and straighten as much as possible. This one gets a little spicy for me. I can't really get my elbows all the way straight, kind of getting that straight angle on the wrist because my wrists are kind of tight and not really great. So just rocking back and forth. Yeah, that's terrific. We got about 5 seconds, and we're going to go into a 90-90 sit. So go ahead and sit on your butt, feet wide. Let's go. All right, you know this one, 90-90s. So we're going to pull that back knee open. Yeah, and then rotate across. Oof. Oh, the stiff hips. If you need to, put your hands back behind you. Yeah. And then pry it back the other way. And we're just going back and forth. If you have good hip mobility, you should be able to keep your hands off the floor, keeping them up in front. But remember, try not to lead this one by like rotating your hips. Lead this one by pulling that hip open, rotating through that hip, and then pivoting the hips once you get to that fully open position. We got about 20 seconds left, then we're going to do a real fancy version of the 90-90 hip rotation where we kind of go up into a bridge and lunge. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. So we got about 7 seconds here. Then we're going to move on to the next one, but we're going to stay in this position because it's just an adaptation of this movement. Cool. All right, like I said, we're going to start off in the 90-90. Then we're going to go up into a bridge, and that back leg, we're going to step it through to a lunge. Then we're going to bring it back and sit it down. Now let's you try that. From your 90-90, go up into a bridge, back leg step through, and then into a lunge, step it back. I know this one it's a bit complicated. Keep trying though. Keep trying. Bridge up, step through, bring it back, step it down, and then flip over. Bridge up, open the hips, yes, step through. Now I know this one is a bit complex, and we're almost like we're like 2/3 of the way through, and you may just be getting it. Feel free to pause and like rewind this if you're not quite getting it. I mean, you guys are pretty good, so I know you're probably like, yeah, I got it, Josh. Don't worry. But just saying, if you want to try it again, try it again. We got 3 seconds. Let's go ahead and switch it to a kneeling hip opener. All right, in this kneeling position, we're going to tuck your pelvis under, and then we're just going to rock back and forth on this back knee. So I think about pulling the front knee forward and just kind of keeping your pelvis tucked in the back leg. You don't want that. You don't want you arching your low back. You want to keep the pelvis tucked. And you notice I don't move very much because my hips are very tight, so my back leg doesn't go into extension very well. A lot of us are kind of like that. So you just want to like open up that back hip. This is a great one to do if you've been sitting all day. This is just a great one to do in general. Let's do one more, and then go ahead and switch, and we're going to hit the same thing on the other side. Again, keeping the pelvis tucked and just rocking back and forth. Now, this is where it's good to remember your hollow body hold. You know, when we do the hollow body hold, we pull the ribs down, tuck the pelvis up. That's the position that we're looking for while we rock here at the hips, trying to take that leg into extension with the proper abdominal engagement. Good. And then let's stay here for some ankle rocks. So we're going to plant the heel on the floor, and we're going to push that knee as far forward as it goes. Now, I use my hand to hold my heel down so that that heel's not popping up, and then I'm trying to take that knee as far forward, as far over the toes as I can, just rocking back and forth on this ankle. And yeah, just that's it. Simple as that. We're just going to, I kind of pry around at the end there, but we're just trying to see how far forward we can get that knee without the heel coming off the floor. Rocking back and forth, just prying that thing open. Let's go ahead and switch sides. And then just doing the other side, just prying it back and forth. Again, I think it's very useful to use your hand to keep that heel glued down because it's going to want to lift up. And that's most of us have pretty tight ankles, at least from my experience with the thousands of people that I've coached. That's what I see a lot. So one more sec and cut it out. We're done for today.